Is this the one? What's good, everyone? Bevan here with Tried and True EDC. Today we're going to be taking a look at the McNees Dixon and trying to answer the question, is this Grail worthy? First, let's talk about the packaging and what it came with. So it did have this plastic figurine that it was included. It's holding an axe and a shield, as you can see. It's kind of representative of the logo from McNees Knives. This is the box. It says, "Be nice. I try." Got the bubble wrap that the knife came in. Got some stickers, a handwritten note, nice touch, and the certificate of authenticity, which is in here. It's not just a knife, it's an experience. Damn right it is. All right, let's talk about the blade. So this is a modified drop point, with a saber grind. It's hollow grind right here. It's got the thumb cut out for opening. It's a Magnacut steel made in the US of A. And here's the McNees stamp. The hardness on this is between 63 and 64 HRC as stated on his website. Optimal HRC for Magnacut is between 62 to 64, according to Google. It's got a beautiful stonewash finish on it. Large blade, 3.75 inches. Lots of cutting length on this one. There's actually a detent ramp. So as it hits the detent ball right here, it easily overcomes it. Now let's see if this is sharp, huh? So in addition to magazine paper, which I normally have for test cutting, I threw some other mediums in the mix. So we got a zip tie right here. See if I just get this right. And some rope. This is 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, with ease. Let's see if it's still slicing paper easily after that. Oh yeah, very nice. We'll have to clean that up later. Let's talk about the handle. This is his unique atomic stonewash. That's what he calls this. It's got milling horizontal to the handle. And see if you can hear that. I'm going to put this up to my mic. That is my fingernail running along so you can hear it. But you can also see it. It's very subtle, provides a little bit extra texturing. It is a frame lock. And it's about 45% lockup. Very well centered. Minimal hardware. It's got 2 body screws and a pivot screw. You can see the standoffs, and these are basically exactly like his PM Mac 2s. And I have a comparison of that in just a moment. The finger groove right here. And with this portion, you can almost choke up and make that function like a finger choil. Let's take a look at some size comparisons. So, first one I have is the Spyderco Shaman. This has aftermarket scales on it. And as you can see, the overall length is very similar. The McNees is maybe just a smidge longer overall. The overall length on the McNees is 8 and about 8 1/4. Let's take a look at the thickness real quick. The handle thickness is coming in at about 3/8 of an inch, not including the pocket clip. Let's take a look at the comparison against a PM Mac 2. Much larger. And we're looking at about 3/4 of an inch longer. All right. Let's talk about the closing and opening mechanism. So closing is the frame lock right here. The opening, you have multiple deployment methods. You can use your thumb to roll it out. You can thumb flick it, or you can spidey or reverse flick it like that. I will note that if you place your fingers and it's not on the pocket clip, but instead on a lock bar, you will feel the resistance a bit more if you're thumb rolling it out. But if you keep it on the pocket clip right here, it's a lot easier and a lot less resistance. The close on these bearings is so well done. It falls shut. And with that detent ramp I mentioned earlier, even if you get caught up and you don't overcome the detent right away, a simple flick of your finger downwards will close it very easily. Let's talk about the pocket clip. This is a titanium milled pocket clip. It's got a bit of springiness to it too. Typically, I prefer the springiness over a stiff pocket clip just because I don't enjoy ripping up my pants trying to extract a knife. But in this case, I think it might have benefited from just a little bit more retention on it. But let's take a look at that in the pocket. Easy in, easy out. And not very much of the knife is sticking out, as you can see. Plenty of real estate left over to get your hands in there if you need. And I like how they did the pocket clip on the Dixon. It is recessed so that way it sits into the frame, whereas this one does not have that. So just creates more stability. It's not going to swivel or move. This one does move a bit. Let's talk about the ergonomics. So very comfortable in hand. I've been handling this for about a week and I don't feel any hot spots. It's very comfortable in hand. If you use the finger groove right here for your index finger and the saber grip, I would say that's the most comfortable. Or if you can choke up and get your middle finger in the finger groove, this is also very comfortable. Hammer grip works just as well. No hot spots. Maybe you start feeling the corners of the frame right here on your pinky, or the back of the handles against this portion of your palm. Reverse grip works as well. Yeah, it's very comfortable in hand. And I've been racking my brain of the similarities with another knife because as I was handling this, I was like, this feels like something else. So towards the end, after I cover the availability and cost, we'll touch on the other knife that I believe this is very similar to. So cost on this one is $625. There was a small batch drop on, I want to say April 23rd. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it sold out in about 2 minutes, and these are no longer available. However, if you go on his website, he does give you the option to enter your email so you can get notified when it's back in stock. I am assuming that he'll probably bring some to Blade Atlanta and then shortly afterwards have more produced. So if you missed out, don't worry. I'm pretty confident that more is going to be coming shortly than not. So what are my final thoughts on this? Is this Grail worthy? You know, it's if I was to put whether or not something was Grail worthy on a scale of 1 to 100, I would say this is at least 90% there. I love titanium knives, and when I say I just like plain Jane titanium knives, and that's not a negative in any way. Calling it plain Jane, I just like the simplicity of how raw titanium looks. And though this is not fully raw titanium, it's since it's atomic stonewashed, it's something about it just it really appeals to me. There's a lot of simplicity behind it, but yet the fit and finish on this one is excellent, and I really enjoy this knife. I was really blown away when I got this in hand, and especially even more so after handling it and using it to do some test cutting. So I really like this knife. Now, $625 is a lot of money for, especially for a knife. But if you're already buying knives in that price point, I would definitely consider this one. It is one heck of a knife. I also like larger blades, so that 3.7-inch cutting edge is definitely coming in handy. Yeah, it really checks a lot of boxes for me. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there was a knife that this reminded me of, and what knife that is the Spyderco Schlicht Bowie. That's right, folks. This has sometimes been referred to as the GOAT of Spyderco knives, and really, it's talking about the original, where it is kind of a raw titanium, and it uses CTS XHP. It has a stonewash mirror finish on it. That one, I would say, is the one for Spyderco, one of Spyderco's top models. This is a Knife Joy exclusive, so it's got a satin blade and anodized blue titanium. But if you take a look at that, the similarities aren't uncanny, right? It's got a modified drop point, very similar to one another. This does have a high flat or full flat grind versus the hollow grind on this. And then contouring on the handles. I believe actually, I would say the contouring on the handles of the Dixon is actually better than this Schlicht Bowie. It's not that much contour. There's contouring on the face side of the handle, but as soon as you get to the edge, it's not as contoured as the Dixon is. Yeah, look at that thing. They're both frame locks. This is an aftermarket pocket clip, which I think it's better than the wire clip. Personal opinion there. This has a lock bar insert. This does not. So titanium does engage. Let me just double check. Yeah, the titanium does engage the blade steel. But yeah, they both got the thumb cutouts, Spyderco thumb hole versus the cutout here. So very similar. And the Schlicht Bowie is one of my favorite Spydercos. You know, it's a top contender for any knife in my collection. And when I was handling the Dixon, I just couldn't wrap my head around. I was like, why does this feel so similar to something I've handled? And that's what it is. Yeah. Let me know what your thoughts are. Drop any questions you may have in the comment section. Love to engage with the community about knives. Let me know if you have one as well, and how you're liking it so far. Yeah, this is awesome. Amazing knife. As always, I really appreciate you tuning in, and stay frosty.